Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a podcast and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from thousands of successful individuals from around the world. I'm your host, Ashutosh Garg, and today I'm privileged to welcome for a second time on The Brand Called You a good friend, a very senior finance professional from corporate India, talking to us not about his corporate journey, but about his personal battle with cancer. Vivek Gour. Vivek, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Ashutosh.
Vivek is a trustee of the Sathya Sanjeevani hospitals. He has earlier been with GE Capital, Genpact Airworks, and Empire Aviation, and he's also a part of the Heart to Heart Foundation. So, Vivek, before we talk about cancer, briefly tell me about your own journey.
Well, I have been a part of the usual graduation, MBA, join a good company, build your career route till 2010. And most of my career was with General Electric and Genpact. Genpact morphed out of General Electric. Later, I ran my own business called Airworks Engineering in the maintenance, repair, overhaul space for aviation. Grew it and then exited in 2017 to join hands with two friends of mine to run and build charitable children's hospitals. Our trust is called Sri Sathya Sai Health and Education Trust. And we have built in less than 10 years over 9 entirely free charitable hospitals and touched as medical consultations more than 230,000 child patients.
Amazing.
So that's my full-time occupation.
What an amazing journey. So let's talk about cancer now, Vivek. Tell me about your journey with cancer. How did you first discover you had this, and what was your initial reaction?
I'll start with the initial reaction. The initial reaction is complete shock. Nothing in my 60 plus years prepared me for the shock of learning that I have cancer. Cancer, with it comes, pain, suffering, difficult treatment, mortality. You come face to face with your own mortality. And nothing prepares you for a discussion with the doctor who says, you may have so many years left. Or you may do better, but it's likely you have so many years left. And I discovered it only through a chance medical blood test. Just a chance blood test, which I was actually testing for cholesterol, but my doctor said check ABC also. And I discovered I had prostate cancer. The investigation process revealed that a bigger problem lay with my right kidney, which was also malignant. And a little later, they discovered that I have a lump in my throat, which is currently under investigation. So 3 whammies in one shot.
My goodness. And tell me, when you figured this, when you found out about this whole thing, how did you cope with the emotional and physical toll of the diagnosis and the subsequent treatment?
So I will admit that, like most other people, I went through anger, denial, low morale, frustration, cursing God, cursing nature. And I went through all of that. But in about a month's time, it was batten down the hatches and let's go into battle. Because moaning and groaning is not going to solve the problem. Cancer in all its forms is painful and troublesome and causes immense discomfort. And in my case, because one kidney had been removed because of the cancer, I'm not allowed to take painkillers. So that added to the complication.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think I'm past the pain period. I'm only in what I'd call the discomfort period, and one has to just deal with it.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
And did the first few months of your treatment and your realization, did it change your perspective on life?
Earlier my life had 30 days in a month or 7 days in a week. Now my life has whatever is 24 hours into 60 minutes in a day and 168 hours in a week. So nothing like facing your own mortality in the mirror and having a frank conversation with your doctor to expand the time you have available exponentially. So every day and every hour is now infinitely more precious. While earlier, as Yudhishthir, when asked by someone, said that, the most strange thing on planet Earth is that people see everyone dying, but they never think it'll happen to them. But this consciousness that, okay, I have X years and I have Y things to complete or provide for my family or whatever it is, that is, I think, the single biggest mental change.
Wow.
And comfort with, okay, this will happen and its time will come and we'll deal with it.
Correct. Well said. And Vivek, what support systems or resources did you find most helpful during this journey?
So my advice to young people who are not yet as old as I am are three. Number one, get your annual medical check done. Even if it's a general check, might throw up something which you may have missed out. I actually missed my annual medical check for 2 years or 3 years in a row because of COVID. And I didn't think much about it. And had I not done that, this would have been caught earlier. Number one. Number two, even if you have medical insurance for your family from your employer, some big company or whatever, please take medical insurance for yourself and your family now when you are 35 or 40 or 45.
Correct.
Because to get it when you're 60 becomes a lot tougher.
Correct.
And after 70, it's impossible. So the fact that I had medical insurance for my family and me independent of my employment stroke business for last 20 years was the biggest boon.
Correct.
Because for all these years, we had never claimed anything, not a dime. And then suddenly we have been claiming millions of rupees. And my entire expenses got covered by the medical.
Amazing.
Third thing is write a will. It is the biggest thing you owe to your family. Because if something were to happen to you and you don't leave a will behind, or explain to your family where your assets and financial investments, etc., are and how to reach them, you could find your family in significant distress.
Correct.
After you go.
Very interesting and great advice. Thank you. Vivek, were there any particular moments or people that stood out as a source of inspiration or strength that are in your battle?
Well, I would definitely give a lot of credit to my wife for her support, non-judgmental, because, after cancer, you're half the man you used to be. I am half the man I used to be. The patient becomes weak, doddering, not able to walk properly, not able to climb stairs, many, many little things. She's been extremely tolerant, and I think she's been a huge factor. For me personally, prayer and meditation have been huge assets.
Right.
Also, not particularly praying that God please cure me, but an acceptance that this is part of my karmic journey and I must keep my mind in a sort of stable frame. I think these two, my children have also been extremely supportive. They're both outside the country, but they took turns to be here for a month each to tide me over the most difficult 2-3 months. And those things have helped a lot immensely.
Amazing. And, you did mention that you are half the man, you're unwell or weakness. Were there any significant lifestyle changes that you have made?
Yeah. So I eat only 2 meals a day now.
Okay.
breakfast and dinner. In between, it is only fruit or fruit juices or something like coconut water, not tea or coffee. And that's now permanent. The second is I've given up sugar and sweets. I wouldn't say 101%, but I would say 95% because cancer feeds on sugar. The third has been becoming more careful about daily exercise. Though I'll confess that the state of my body doesn't permit me to do that religiously every day. There are some very low days.
Yeah.
But as far as I can manage. And so I think these three are the big changes.
Okay. And were there any unexpected positive outcomes or life lessons that have emerged in your journey so far?
Yes. I would say one is that cancer is a all or nothing battle. It wages war against you medically, physically, financially, spiritually, mentally, every way. And there are no, it's a winner takes it all situation. So you don't really know how strong you are, they say, with cancer till being strong is the only option left. So I think I have discovered a lot of that inner strength to plow on, not just with the cancer, but with my work also at Sanjeevani hospitals, and say, okay, this is life and one has to deal with it. God's given me so many good things.
Correct.
Materially, financially, physically, and now he's sort of doled a black dice. I have to accept the good with the bad.
Correct. Well said. Cancer is something that people don't understand too much. My question, Vivek, is did you face any stigma or any misconceptions related to cancer? And if yes, how did you address them?
Maybe not stigma, but a lot of people who wanted to come and visit me were hesitant to do so, either because they may have felt that the cancer will infect them.
Okay.
And, these are educated people, and I had to explain that cancer is not infectious. Or probably many of them were not comfortable dealing with someone who has cancer. They didn't know कि हम आके मिलेंगे तो क्या बोलेंगे, sort of thing. And some of my very, very close friends found it difficult to come and meet, and I don't hold it against them. I'm not expecting anyone to come and meet me. But I did notice this for quite a while.
Wow.
With people.
Amazing. You also told me that one of the things that you have fallen back upon is prayer.
Yes.
I want to ask you, how did this journey, or how has this journey impacted spirituality or any of your beliefs?
I wouldn't say it has impacted any of my beliefs except to re-strengthen them. Like most Hindus, I believe in reincarnation, transmigration of the soul, theory of karma, as you sow, so shall you reap. And I accept that, what has happened is a function of some things I may have done in this or earlier lifetimes. And just the way the good things that have happened to me are also a function of my hard work and stuff, karmic accounts of earlier times. This is also part of it, number one. Number two, I work with needy patients all the time. I meet dozens every day. I think my compassion and empathy for them and their condition has gone up. No, not that I was rude or strict with them or anything. But I now connect more with their desperation or worries.
And have you become involved with any advocacy or support groups for
No,
cancer?
no, no,
No, you haven't.
no, I haven't.
Okay.
My charitable pediatric hospital work consumes my time 101%. So I've just left it at that.
Okay. Uh, Next question is that, we always fear cancer. I've lost two very dear people from my family, my sister-in-law and my brother, to cancer. Uh, what advice would you give to friends and family members, to help them to be more understanding and supportive?
So two things come to my mind. One is cancer is not linear. A cancer which seems to be getting into remission can suddenly pop back. Cancer can lurk in different parts of your body without it getting detected by even modern methods. I'll give you a small example. My cancer was detected through my prostate, which the doctors assessed had grown only in less than 2 years to almost the start of stage 4, which is the cusp at which you can really be treated. While the cancer in the kidney was still only stage 1, but they said this seems to have been growing inside you for 7-8 years.
Okay.
And it had spread to the entire kidney, so they had to remove the whole of it. So don't take things for granted. It is not common cold that you took 10 medicines and it went away. And without lifestyle changes, whether it's the food or the drink or the exercise, it can be encouraged to pop back again. Number one. Number two, be empathetic to the patient, because he or she may be dealing with more internally, both emotionally and physically, that may be visible on the outside. Definitely, I don't show too much on the outside of what I am coping with internally. But each person is, unique, and they do it in their own way.
I agree. Wonderful. Great response. Vivek, I have time for two more questions for you.
Yeah.
My next question is, what do you wish more people understood about cancer and the journey of with cancer?
Number one, many types of cancers, especially if caught at an early stage, stage 1 and stage 2, maybe even stage 3, are curable.
Right.
Or actually, there's nothing like you cure cancer. You just put it in remission. You put it back in the system so that it is not too visible. Second is delaying your treatment might add to your risk of mortality. A lot of people move into denial. Third, anyone and everyone, probably out of good intention, will advise you on all kinds of naturopathy, homeopathy, and other pathies. Don't make alternate medicine your primary route. I don't know how many stories I've heard about someone who ate some jadi booty and got cured, or someone who had beetroot juice and got cured. I don't go by these hearsays. Allopathy is difficult, but it's proven. The doctors know that if we follow this protocol, these medicines for X time, then you have a 70% chance of remission, or a 90% or a 50%. So I prefer that scientific method. And I definitely came under a lot of pressure from different family members, well-meaning people, to drop allopathy and try some, naturopathy drug.
I can understand.
I even had someone saying, I have leaves in Nagaland which will cure you. So you just have to politely push them away. Absolutely. They mean well, but that's not the route.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. My mother, who's no more now, when she found out about first her 43-year-old daughter-in-law and then 3 years later about her 48-year-old son, I think she went all over the country, and the leaves she would ensure they were flown, and she would go to so-and-so and a tabiz. Both of them did everything to keep my mother happy, but they continued with their treatment. And this is a very important statement that you've made.
Yes.
And my last question to you, Vivek, and this is a personal question to you. What have been some of your own personal lessons you have learned?
I think I have become more in touch with my inner feelings and accepting them.
Mm.
As is the case with several men, not all, we tend to put our feelings aside.
Correct.
We focus on facts, action, things to do, but not get into the feeling side. That is for the ladies, you know. That's the upbringing we've all had. So I think I have accepted that I don't have to be happy or brave every day. There are some days when I'm down physically, some days I'm down mentally. Some days you just get exhausted dealing with so many protocols of treatment.
Correct.
And, I have some 12 medicines I take in a day. You just get tired doing it. And accept it, and then sort of just lower your targets for that day. Lower your activity, curl up and go to sleep when you need to. So basically adjusting to the new normal and adjusting to the fact that, as I mentioned earlier, I'm not the man I used to be. I can't walk that fast. Not right now. I might be able to later. I definitely cannot swim the way I used to. And I have less energy in a day than I used to. So these are things one has to... The other thing is that cancer is a great exercise in ego deflation. I don't know if I had mentioned this to you when we spoke, but there's nothing like not being able to perform your own bodily functions, all of them, without the help of a male nurse or a grown-up child, to put all your newspaper clippings and TV interviews and awards to, just put them into, reduce them to zero.
Correct.
And that's what cancer does to you. For the first 2 months, I couldn't manage on my own. Fortunately, my son was here, and he's tall and well built, and he could lift me up, and even basic bathroom functions you require help, and nothing like that to beat your ego to pieces.
Amazing. And your messages come through so strongly about the power of family and how much they need, how much you have got support from them. But on that note, Vivek, and your 3 incredible pieces of advice right in the beginning of an interview, where you said all young people should go through an annual medical checkup. They need to take medical insurance now, and you specified medical insurance on a personal level, irrespective of what your company or employer may do. And the third one you said was right to will. Thank you, Vivek, for speaking to me about some of your deep thoughts on cancer and all the challenges that you have been through or you're going through. Thank you for some amazing thoughts on what the dreaded big C does to each one to each one's body that you're going through. And I can only say that my prayers, and I'm sure of prayers of a lot of my viewers and listeners, will be to give you the strength to come out of this and not just be walking again, but swimming again, running again, whatever else you want to do. Thank you for speaking to me.
Thank you, Ashutosh. Lovely talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the Brand Called You.